What is up, everybody? This is Adam. Welcome back to Fouled Out. Matt is going to be joining me in just a moment to talk about a wild NFL trade deadline and then hand out some midseason awards now that the NFL season is officially halfway over, which is a bummer, but still plenty of good football coming our way. Bad news for everybody watching us on YouTube. I did cut my hair last week. I know some of you were very excited about the samurai hair and the man bun, but as you can see, it is all gone. Much more professional, clean cut look for me now. So apologies to those of you that were really excited about it, but it was time. Also repping the Western Michigan Broncos hoodie today. Western Michigan taking care of business against our arch rival, Central Michigan, on Saturday in their annual football game. Was super excited about that. And really kind of digging our quarterback, Brock Lowry. That might be a whole nother podcast, but he's pretty good and I really enjoy watching him. And so I expect him to be on someone else's team who's going to pay him more NIL money next year, which it kind of sucks for small teams like mine who, we find some guys who are actually good. And then it feels like the big schools are going to come and scoop them up and take them away from us. But fingers crossed that Brock Lowry will be the Western Michigan quarterback, at least for next season. Before we get started, I'm going to talk about baseball one more time in the opening of this podcast. For those of you who don't enjoy the segment, good news. This is the last one because the MLB playoffs are over. The LA Dodgers have won the World Series again. So this is their second straight World Series. And I've talked a lot about the Dodgers the last couple of weeks and about how I feel about them and their quote unquote Death Star lineup and pitching staff and all that stuff. So I don't want to talk about them. What I did want to talk about quickly is the Toronto Blue Jays losing the World Series in what could be the most painful fashion that I have seen in my time watching baseball. I was thinking about the culmination of this loss, as a series. So you lose an 18-inning game. You end up going back to Toronto up 3-2 with 2 chances to close it out. Game 6, you go down 3-1, but you get guys on second and third with no outs in the bottom of the 9th, and you don't score. And so you lose that game and force a Game 7. Game 7 for Toronto might just be one of the most brutal individual losses I have ever seen. And then tack onto that it's Game 7 of the World Series with the championship on the line. And man, so many chances Game 6 and Game 7 for the Blue Jays to win that series. And combining those two games with the fact that you played an 18-inning game in LA that you lost, I think this goes into the pantheon of most brutal sports losses that fan bases will never get over, especially because it was a championship series. And I went back and I looked at a bunch of different championship series or championship games throughout sports to see, basically what the most brutal championship losses of all time are. And here's what I came up with. The 28-3 Falcons being up 28-3 in a Super Bowl and losing and just being the butt of every NFL joke, basically from then on. 1986, we have the Boston Red Sox and Bill effing Buckner letting a ball go between his legs and letting the Mets win that World Series. 1993, the NCAA basketball championship, the Michigan Fab Five versus the North Carolina Tar Heels. That is the Chris Webber timeout game where Michigan has a chance to tie. Chris Webber calls a timeout with no timeouts, which is a technical foul, allowing UNC to ice the game. We have Malcolm Butler's goal line interception in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. In 1972, the Munich Summer Olympics, the U.S. men's national basketball team lost to the USSR 51-50 in a game that I didn't see it, but apparently was so shady and there's so much controversy surrounding that game that the U.S. Olympic Committee still has not accepted the silver medals in that game. But 1972 for the U.S. men's basketball team to lose to the USSR, our arch rival in all things, pretty shitty. We have Mike Tyson losing to Buster Douglas in Tokyo. massive upset that nobody expected, and Buster Douglas dominates him and then knocks him out in that fight. One that's near and dear to my heart, the 18-1 Patriots. Patriots go into the Super Bowl 18-0 and then end up losing to Eli Manning and the Giants. And then the last one I had is the Buffalo Bills losing 4 straight Super Bowls, especially the wide right game against the Giants, which I believe was the first one, Super Bowl 25, where they have a chance to win the game and, shank the field goal. So that to me, from what I could see, is the pantheon of championship losses, of like the pantheon of brutal championship losses that people will never get over. Speaking from personal experience, I still cringe every time I think about 18-1. It still bothers me. I've been asked multiple times, would you give up 2 Super Bowls to have that one? And my answer is, depends what Super Bowls. Like, would I give up the final Super Bowl against the Rams and like maybe the one we won against Carolina for a 19-0 season? Yes, but I wouldn't trade the first Super Bowl against the Rams for anything. That is the beginning of Tom Brady's legacy. I would not trade the 28-3 Super Bowl against the Falcons. Like, I wouldn't trade 2 Super Bowls if either of those were included. But if you were like, hey, would you trade 28-3 straight up to be 19-0? That is something I would give serious consideration to, because the 2007 Patriots team is far and away the greatest football team to ever be assembled and ever touch NFL turf. I think it's like them and like the 1946 Bears have the biggest scoring margins over the course of a season of any team in NFL history. And if you put the 2007 Pats up against the 1946 Bears or 1942, whatever season it was, I like the 2007 Pats' chances of winning that game. But that is the greatest football team ever by so many statistical measures. And anytime that you talk about it or bring it up or say, I think that's the greatest football team of all time, people just, Eli Manning. So that is one I would have really loved to have. And I know I know that most of you don't give a shit about what Super Bowls I would like to have and what Super Bowls I would give up to get them, because I've watched my team win 6 and go to 9. So yeah, it's champagne problems over here. But that to me, I mean, that one to me, and then the Bruins losing Game 7 at home to the St. Louis Blues in the Stanley Cup final, those are 2 losses that stick with me. And I remember those more vividly than some of the wins sometime. Obviously, the sting is taken out of those by the fact that I watched the Red Sox win 4 and the Patriots win 6 and the Bruins win 1. You know, being a Toronto fan, Toronto won back-to-back World Series in the 90s, but that is so long ago for so many people that if you're my age, you don't remember that. If you're in your 30s or you're in your 20s, you weren't even born yet. So to see the Blue Jays go to the World Series for the first time in your lifetime and to have it end like this, I mean, even if you were alive and of age in the 90s enough to remember those World Series, this is still like, it's been 30 years. And this is absolutely a brutal, brutal loss that absolutely goes up in the pantheon with all of those other sports losses. So I feel for Blue Jay fans. I don't hate the Blue Jays, even though they're in our division. Like, I hate the Yankees and the Rays. And man, I don't really know what else to say about it except for I'm sorry, guys. That fucking sucks. It sucks. And you probably won't ever get over it. I think looking at some of the other like really brutal sports losses, a lot of teams, like, they talk about like Virginia losing to UMBC and being the first 1 seed ever to lose to a 16 seed, even though that wasn't in a championship game, was absolutely brutal at the time. But then Virginia comes back and wins the championship next year, and I think really took a lot of the sting out of being the first 1 seed ever to lose to a 16. And maybe there's more sting taken out of it because it's happened again since then. So for the Blue Jays, I think how much this hurts and for how long it hurts, we'll find out the next couple of seasons. They may never get back here, and this could like really fucking suck. Or maybe they win the World Series next year and it's like, hey, yeah, we had to lose that one to win the next one. So fingers crossed for my friends in Toronto. But We are going to grab Matt and talk football, but before we get started, just a reminder, you can reach out to us, fouledoutsports@gmail.com. You want to talk baseball offseason, NHL, college football, any of the things, hit me up. I will get back to you. But for now, let's grab Matt and let's talk NFL trade deadline. Let's go. All right, Matt is here, fresh off of a NFL trade deadline that I think was more wild than it had any right to be. Matt, how you doing, buddy?
I think it's safe to say that I'm doing a lot better than Breece Hall is.
Yeah. Breece Hall, very sad right now to watch all of his friends go.
Walking in like the Will Smith gif. Just
like the funny thing about Breece Hall and the Jets, though, is that we went through like a multiple week drama of, the Jets are going to trade Breece Hall. And then it was like, Breece Hall doesn't want to be traded. And it was like, well, the Jets don't want to trade Breece Hall. They're going to keep him and try to get this comp pick. And then they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And then the Jets shockingly trade Sauce Gardner to the Colts, which we'll talk about in a minute. And Quinnen Williams to Dallas, two guys whose names were not even like whispered in trade circles. So two kind of like off the top rope trades. And then at the end of the day, Breece Hall's like, okay, can you guys please trade me now? And they're like, nope, you're sticking here, Breece. So kind of sucks for him and Garrett Wilson is that like now, I mean, I don't really know what other option the Jets had but to rebuild at this point. Yeah,
I have no issues with what they did. But man, does it suck to be a veteran player on that team right now.
Yeah. Well, the Jets actually did what I would argue is the right thing to do. Honestly, my argument would be the Jets didn't go far enough on Sunday or on Tuesday. Like if you're going to tear it down, like tear the whole thing down for picks, right? Like you trade Sauce and you trade Quinnen Williams, but you didn't even entertain deals for Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's probably the most valuable piece on that entire team. I would have entertained deals for that. I would have I guess they got a fourth. They got offered a fourth for Breece Hall from Kansas City. And we talked about this on the pod last week is that like, if you keep Breece and he walks in free agency, what comp pick are you getting?
Yeah.
Probably like a 4th round comp pick, which Kansas City's 4th rounder is going to be higher than the 4th round comp pick. I mean, like even if Kansas City wins the Super Bowl, that pick will be a couple slots higher. So like, should you have taken that? Maybe. I'm glad they didn't because I didn't want them to help out Kansas City.
No, the Jets, just for not trading Breece Hall to the Kansas City Chiefs, are like the guardians of the NFL now. Like, they saved us all from an insufferable rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets have done more to derail the Chiefs dynasty than pretty much any other AFC team at this point, just by not trading them Breece Hall. It's like the Jets not trading them Breece Hall and the Patriots beating them that one year where they had Tom Brady and they beat Patrick Mahomes just because we delayed it a year. But Jets arguably do the right thing. They now have 2 firsts and 2 seconds in this draft, and then 3 firsts in the 2027 draft, which, if you pay attention to future draft classes, the 2027 draft class is supposedly chock full of quarterback and wide receiver talent. I'm in like a wait and see mode with the draft because I feel like, we do this every year.
Wait and see tribe?
No, wait and sees. Well, we do this every year, though. It's like last year at this time, we were looking at this year's draft class, and we were like, oh, my God, it's the deepest quarterback draft class we've ever seen, and Arch Manning and Lenora Sellers and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And now we're looking at this quarterback class, and we're like, how many first-rounders are there? Like a year ago, it was like there are 8 first-round quarterbacks, and now it's like, is there 1? Are there 3? I don't know. So, we'll see when we get to 27, but it does have Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams, who are both going to be pretty high level wide receiver prospects. So, but yeah, this is the thing though. is the Jets arguably did the right thing. They are now loaded with draft capital, like premium draft capital for the next 2 drafts. And yet, they are still the Jets. So I just kind of look at it and take it with a grain of salt because I'm obviously a Pats fan and I obviously hate every team from New York. But we're really going to trust the Jets to hit these picks? Because that's the other part of this is you still have to hit the picks.
They do.
And the Jets don't have a long history of doing that. Like you can have, so they have what I would call 4 premium picks in this draft and 4 premium picks in the next draft, right? In the top 2 rounds. One of those is going to be a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Or they're going to trade multiple of them to move up and get whatever quarterback it is they want.
Yeah.
If they pick the wrong quarterback, this is all for naught. Right? Like if you're like, hey, Lenora Sellers is our guy. And I know I'm picking on Lenoris, but if you're like Lenora Sellers is our guy and he's a bust, none of this matters. And you're right back where you've been for the last 45 years. If you get it right, and now you have like 7 other premium draft picks, the Jets could get really good really quickly. Like they have the opportunity. It's just a matter of not like, are they going to execute it? And being that it is the Jets, I would bet on no.
Oh, Adam, you are not seeing the potential here. They have 5 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts, right? Why not just pick 5 quarterbacks? One of them's gotta hit, right?
I have a better proposal for you.
Honestly, like if you're the Jets, that honestly might be a viable strategy at this point.
Can I offer you a better alternative? How many first-round picks do you have to trade in order to get Sam Darnold from the Seattle Seahawks at this point? 2? 3? Let's go get a proven quarterback in Sam Darnold, who is good.
I mean, I think we know exactly how that will play out.
Yeah.
Immediately he'll start seeing ghosts.
I could do a really good mock-up of Sam Darnold in a Jets uniform for you. Just give me a couple minutes. Yeah. So I thought overall a good day for the Jets. That's what I would do at this point. This is what I always preach is I'm like, don't ever be mediocre. If you're not good, sell off everything that's not nailed down and get picks so that you can try to become good.
Don't ever try to be mediocre. You can tear down and then be mediocre on your way up to being good.
Yeah.
But
it just
don't be like, oh man, maybe we can get 7 wins this year. That's a good idea.
Yeah. The worst place to be in all of sports is basically like where the Sacramento Kings have been for years, where it's like, you're not good, but you're also not bad enough to get good. You're just like always stuck in the middle and there's no way out. You're just stuck there forever. And I'd rather pick a like track and just go with it. Right. And
don't
that's
even
what
get
they
me
did.
started on your Sacramento Kings right now.
Well, we'll probably talk about them later in the NBA Take segment, unfortunately.
2K, look, Adam, I have never seen this before. They continuously catch the ball and dribble out of bounds. Like
this is truly
2K.
truly the most realistic basketball simulation experience is that Matt's my career player in 2K is on the Kings and he hates it. I'm like, yeah, because it's pretty much it. That's the whole experience.
It's legitimately like 4 or 5 times a game someone does that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's wild. I've been playing 2K for a long time. Never seen that consistently happen in any other version.
Well, I guess it's not realistic because you're only getting 4 or 5 stupid Kings turnovers per game. And
I didn't say that.
It's much more than that. But
it's just those specific turnovers.
I had the Jets on my list of things to talk about, but I'm more interested in talking to you about the teams that the Jets traded with to acquire said draft capital. What the fuck happened yesterday? We're recording this on Wednesday the 5th. It is a little bit more than 24 hours past the trade deadline. I mean, first things first, the Indianapolis Colts send 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell to the Jets for Sauce Gardner, which was like a bomb out of nowhere. How did you, before I say how I felt about this, because I have strong feelings about what the Colts did, how did you feel about the Colts acquiring Sauce Gardner?
Confused? Like, don't get me wrong, like this, it's an obvious roster upgrade for them. I just don't think I'm giving up that draft capital for that. And coming off the tails of a game where I'm not saying it's going to be the rest of the season, but we did see that Daniel Jones from New York is still there.
Yeah. This was the thing for me, is that what this trade signifies to me is that the Colts believe that they are one Sauce Gardner away from winning the Super Bowl this year.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think that this is the trade that puts you over the top and wins you the Super Bowl, you do not make this trade. Not only are you trading 2 first for a corner, which I'll talk about that in a sec, but also A.D. Mitchell, you just picked him in the 2nd round like a year ago.
Yeah.
And he is someone I would like to have still, especially if like you could acquire him. The Colts don't want him anymore and you could acquire him. I think he's someone that still has a lot of potential. So this is the Colts saying, we think this trade's going to make us a Super Bowl contender. We think that this is going to win us the Super Bowl. Like, we think we're a contender. We think this puts us over the top. Which, I don't know that the Colts front office watched the same game that I watched on Sunday. I bet on the Colts to beat Pittsburgh because, like, even after Sunday, I will not admit that Pittsburgh is a good football team. Pittsburgh is a shit football team who is going to go like 9-8 or 10-7 again because they have Tomlin as their coach, and it pisses me off. But I turned on the game, and the announcers are like, oh, it's the Indianapolis Colts' first game outside this year. First game on grass. And I was like, oh, shit. I instantly started trying to cash that bet out because I was like, I know how this ends. And Matt, I hate to step on Bolds and Scolds later, but it ended with Daniel Jones throwing 3 interceptions and fumbling 3 times and losing 2 of them. 5 turnovers from Daniel Jones. Just absolutely horrific. Like this wasn't even New York Daniel Jones. This was worse than that. This was like an epic pant shit.
He had a few games like that in New York.
Oh, but I would tell the Indianapolis Colts front office that your biggest thing holding you back from winning a Super Bowl this year is not the cornerback position. It's the quarterback position. Yeah. You are not winning a Super Bowl with Daniel Jones as your quarterback. You're just not. And like, if you had your quarterback, like if you had like, you know, Josh Allen or like Drake May or like just a really good quarterback and you're like, we're set at quarterback for the foreseeable future, then fine. But you might need a quarterback next year. You might find out in short order that Daniel Jones is not the future of this franchise. Mm-hmm. And now you've basically wiped out your opportunity to get a future quarterback.
Yeah.
So I hate this trade for the Indianapolis Colts. This is the type of trade you look back on in 3 or 4 years and go, what the fuck were they smoking when they did that? Aside from that, in a vacuum, if I'm trading 2 first-round picks for a corner, it better be a goddamn great corner. Like top 5 in the league. Is Sauce Gardner a top 5 corner? Is he a top 10 corner? Is he a top 15 corner?
Like, what year are we talking? Right? Because he's been up and down. And when we know when he's at the top of his game, he might be the best. But when he's not, oh, buddy. Like,
I could tell you, I've watched my team play against him twice a year for like 3-4 years now, whatever it's been. And I've never been, I've never been worried about Sauce Gardner. Not once.
I mean,
mostly because my team sucks.
His rookie year, he was elite. Granted, that year, there was no one on your team worth him blanketing. So
some would say there's still not.
Yeah.
It's an overpay in a vacuum. And then you add on to the fact that, like, the Colts are, going to get eliminated in the first round, the second round this year? If your quarterback is not in, like, the upper echelon of quarterbacks, I'm sorry, you're not winning the AFC. You are not, like, he is not beating Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. I'm not even convinced that the Colts are going to beat Drake May when it comes to the playoffs. So I hate it. And when I first saw it, and it was like Sauce Gardner to the Colts, I was kind of like, oh, okay, like I get it, right? Because they had Charvarius Ward, who was really good for them and now is missing some time. They've had some other injuries in the DB room. But I was like, I got to see the compensation for this. And when I saw what it was, my jaw went through the floor. This is just way too much for Sauce and just way, way, way too much for a team quarterback by Daniel Jones to give up. Then
great job by the Jets.
I thought the Jets
made
had
out like a bandit.
Yeah, well, and then the second trade the Jets made, Quinnen Williams.
This is one, like, I had heard some rumors that he might get moved, but, like, it was one of those rumors that you hear and you're like, there's no way this guy gets traded.
So, defensive tackle, interior defensive lineman, Quinnen Williams is traded
Jerry Jones
from the Jets to the Cowboys for this year's second round pick, a first next year, which is the higher of the 2 picks that the Cowboys own between their own and Green Bay, which just in and of itself, like just that sentence in a vacuum, I think is super interesting because we haven't really seen that in the NFL before.
Yeah.
That's like an NBA thing, like pick protections and like swaps and stuff like that. So just the fact that, like, it's not a defined first and it's like, okay, whatever one's higher, you get that, I thought was really interesting. And Maisie Smith, who hasn't been great shakes for the Cowboys. What the fuck are the Cowboys doing trading for a 28-year-old interior defensive lineman and giving away 2 premium picks to do it? I feel like I'm not watching the same NFL that everybody else is watching. Because there's no fucking way anybody watched that Monday Night Football game and was like, yeah, this Dallas Cowboys team, they're one Quinnen Williams away from making the playoffs. Like, this team can go on a run. I'm like frozen right now. I don't know what to say. I'm like frozen with rage because what happened? Jerry Jones came out like the end of the week last week and he's like, oh yeah, we got a trade in the works. And then they traded a 7th for Logan Wilson, who can't get on the field for the Cincinnati Bengals defense, which is on pace to be the worst we've ever seen. And like that, fine. It's a 7th. You got this guy. Okay, whatever. I don't care about that. Then this. And my feeling on this was like when they traded Micah Parsons and got the extra draft capital from the Packers, Jerry came out and said, we will, like, don't be surprised if we trade some of this capital to get a defensive playmaker. And I feel like the whole reason they made this trade for Quinnen Williams was that Jerry was like, well, if I don't do it, then I'm a liar because I told the fans that we would go and get a defensive playmaker. And congratulations, you got a 28-year-old interior defensive lineman. And like, credit where credit's due, you got a good one.
Yeah.
But nobody watched you get absolutely eviscerated by Jacoby Brissett on Monday and thought, this team needs an interior defensive lineman. Absolutely baffling that they would go out and do this.
What's funny is that this feels like it totally came out of left field. But the fact of the matter is that Jerry literally told us he was going to do this. He told us back in September that he did it. I'm not going to say it was smart, but he did it.
He's a man of his word. I just can't get over it. Like, okay, the Colts trade, you're 7-2, right? Arguably, the AFC is wide open. If the Colts trade would have happened a week ago, before the Pittsburgh game, maybe my reaction to it wouldn't have been so visceral. This trade, like, you're 3-5-1. You got your shit rocked by the Arizona Cardinals at home on Monday. And then you go out and do this. It, like, I can't imagine being a Cowboys fan. It has to be.
I would never try to.
Fucking awful. Let me ask you a question. 3 or 4 years from now, who is going to regret this trade deadline more, the Colts or the Cowboys?
I'm going to say the Colts. Cornerback is just a position that doesn't age well. I mean, something as simple as one soft tissue injury could really just be the end of Sauce. You know, that's nothing against him. That's just the reality of the position. And I mean, that's 2 first-round picks. And you are relying on Daniel Jones to be the guy that pays this off.
I agree with you for 2 reasons. One is I think the Colts front office is going to find out what we all know, and that is that Daniel Jones isn't it. And is it going to be this summer or next summer or the summer after? There will be a summer where they're like, well, we need to find a new quarterback, and you lost 2 first-round picks that you could have used on quarterback. The other reason is like Green Bay, at least the capital they traded was like quote unquote like excess from the Micah Parsons trade, right? Like they have 2 firsts this year and 2 firsts next year. They could afford to trade a first. Mm-hmm. To me, it's not just the fact that they did this at 3-5-1. It's the fact that like the guy they traded for is a 28-year-old interior defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Not the age and position that I would be trading 2 premium picks for, but yeah. I really think the Colts are going to look back on this in a couple of years and just like rue this trade deadline. It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to ask me which of these 2 players is more capable of paying off the value that they were traded for, I would probably say that Quinnen Williams is more likely to be able to do that. I mean, there's just not a lot of defensive tackles ever that break that double digit sack mark, and he's already done it.
Yeah.
He's a little up there in the years, but like defensive tackles do age a little bit more gracefully than corners. At Quinnen's age, Sauce might just be done.
Well,
So
to be fair to Quinnen was also acquired for less total
yes.
value, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he has less he has to pay off. All right, midseason awards. We are officially halfway through the NFL season. We've played 9 out of 18 weeks. Some teams have played 9 games. Some teams have played 8. So, take it with a grain of salt. But we went through for the 5 major awards: MVP, Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year, and picked who we would give the award out to after 9 weeks. Matt, you want to lead us off with your MVP?
Let's start off spicy. My MVP pick would be Jonathan Taylor. Fuck all the quarterbacks. None of them have really separated themselves. Prior to this past week, Jonathan Taylor was on a pace with scoring touchdowns to challenge LaDainian Tomlinson's touchdown record, which is insane. Like that, quite frankly, I didn't think I would live to see that challenge. I might not still, but
the fact you still probably won't.
But if he goes out and scores 3 touchdowns this week, then okay, here we are, right back at it, right? And he's done that a lot, by the way. I was unsure earlier in the season, if he really was deserving of it. And then last week happened. And yes, he got shut down in that game. Whatever. Guys have bad games throughout the season. But last week was the first time that Jonathan Taylor had been shut down all year. And we got to see why that offense has been so good. And the reason is Jonathan Taylor. The entire focus of every game plan is we need to stop Jonathan Taylor. And that's why everything else works. And when Jonathan Taylor stops working, nothing works.
That's pretty spicy, but I'm going to go spicier. My midseason MVP is Drake May, the Patriots quarterback. And I'm dead serious. For people that think I'm just being a homer, I am as serious as a heart attack right now. So there are 6 quarterbacks who are currently kind of up for MVP via odds: Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Matt Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Drake May. I went through and looked at all of their yards per game and touchdowns per game, and they're all, like you said, kind of in this comparable area of they're between 275 and 300 total yards per game. They all score somewhere between 2 and 3 touchdowns per game, passing and rushing. I want to do a thought experiment with you. Which one of those other quarterbacks is in as shitty of a situation as Drake May? And I'm talking offensive line and weapons wise.
Yeah.
Who, Drake May is keeping up with all of those other guys, not only on the stat sheet, but in the wins column. And he's been sacked 12 times the last 2 games. Kayshon Boutte got hurt against the Falcons on Sunday, and Mac Hollins and Kyle Williams are playing 75% of the snaps. Ramondre Stevenson hurt his toe, and an undrafted free agent from some school in Florida I've never heard of, Terrell Jennings, is coming in and getting significant fucking carries against the Falcons. If you took these teams, the Ravens, the Bills, the Rams, the Chiefs, the Chargers, And I know now Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater are both out
Yeah.
for the season, so this could change quickly for the Chargers. But like for the purposes of the experiment here, say Joe Alt is still playing because to this point he has been, and the Patriots. I want you to replace all of their quarterbacks with Daniel Jones. And tell me which one of those teams is now the worst. It is the New England Patriots.
I would say all of them, but
yeah, well, they'd all be worse than they are now. But I mean, like, if all of them were quarterbacked by like Jacoby Brissett, or all of them were quarterbacked by Daniel Jones.
I mean, we already know what the Patriots quarterbacked by Jacoby Brissett looks like.
Yeah, ain't great. But Drake May, like, you want to talk about value? Like, who is adding the most value to their team? It is Drake May. This team, like, I love them. I fucking love this team, and I look forward to every Sunday watching them. But this team should not be this good. And if you look at, like, every single advanced stat graph in the entire world, Drake May's just in like the top right corner. It's like, oh, success rate is on one axis and EPA per dropback is on the other. Oh, Drake May's number one. Oh, Drake May's number one over here. Oh, like QBERT and QB rating. Oh, Drake May's number one. He's playing out of his fucking mind with like not good ingredients still.
Yeah, it's a situation where like I really am watching it, and I'm just like, okay, like, the other shoe's got to drop eventually, right?
Well, this is the thing, too, is... I do, like, for the record, I think what's going to happen is that they'll lose to the Bucs this weekend. They're in Tampa. I think they'll lose to the Bucs, and people will come back and be like, oh, Adam, you picked Drake May to be MVP, blah, blah. And people will look at, like, Drake May's stats and be like, schedule. The schedule hasn't been good. Win-loss record-wise... the Patriots have not played the strongest schedule. However, they have played 6 of the top 11 pass defenses in the NFL this year. So Drake May is keeping up with the likes of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Statistically, he's keeping up with them in wins because the Patriots are tied for the most wins in the goddamn league right now at 7. And he's doing it against good pass defenses, and we're at the point in the season, we're halfway through, where we can say that this is a statistically significant sample size and that these pass defenses are good, but not as good as Drake May is because he keeps carving them up. So, people want to say the other shoe's going to drop, like you said, but like, honestly, they play 3 tough games the second half of the season, and it is this week against Tampa. They have a home game against the Bills, and then they're going to play the Ravens. I think those 3 games are going to be difficult. But you know what else we got, Matt? 2 against the Jets, who just traded away Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. Got another against Miami. And we have a few other, like, we got the Bengals defense coming up. How many points is Drake May going to put up on the Bengals defense? This team is going to finish somewhere between like 10 and 12 wins this season. And it is for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only, and that is Drake May and Mike Vrabel. And you want to talk about value, the dude who's adding the most value to his team through 9 weeks, it's Drake fucking May. OPOY, Offensive Player of the Year. Who you got?
So I got JSN. He is currently on pace to, I believe, break 2,000 receiving yards this year, which would be the record in the NFL. Having picked Jonathan Taylor for my MVP, that leaves him next up on the skill position players, and quite frankly, I think what he's doing is more impressive than what any quarterback is doing. No shot at Drake May there, but like, he's legitimately like trending towards breaking records.
Yeah, I mean, he's become the best wide receiver in the league in short order right now. Yeah. At least he's playing the best. I picked Jonathan Taylor. Just, I didn't have him for MVP, so I just will ditto all the reasons you gave for picking him MVP. I have him offensive player of the year still. I did feel like his 57 or 54-yard performance against the Steelers kind of left the door open for me, though, to be like, oh, well, who else could win this award?
Mm-hmm.
And I also had JSN as my number 2. Like I said earlier, he's in the number 1 passing offense in the league, and he has 950 yards, and the next person on his team has 293. So, like, nobody's helping him. Why would you not just double him every single play and bracket him and all that stuff? And teams do, and it doesn't matter. And I just like, can I just take a moment to remind everybody that Jackson Smith-Njigba was like one of my biggest my guy picks that we've ever had. Fucking loved that guy when he was in college. You guys go back and listen to the My Guys podcast. I loved him. The other guy I had as a consideration is Christian McCaffrey, who just no matter what happens to the 49ers for injuries, Christian McCaffrey has just had a very Christian McCaffrey season. Took over the lead in scrimmage yards from Jonathan Taylor. So, like, Taylor's leading the league in touchdowns, but now Christian McCaffrey has more total yards than he does this season. So, it's just like, oh, all these people keep getting hurt on the 49ers. We have Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams, so it doesn't matter. Defensive player of the year, I'm going to be really interested to hear your answer here, because I don't feel like there's a good answer right now. Not because people aren't having good seasons, but it's like there's not like a Jonathan Taylor or a Jackson Smith-Njigba where it's just like, oh, like that's the dude on defense right now.
Yeah, I struggled with this one, but I eventually settled on Brian Burns. Believe he's got a slight edge on Garrett for sacks.
Yep, it's Brian Burns has 11 and Garrett has 10.
Yeah. Got a bunch of tackles for loss, all that. But stats aside, when they've been on national TV and I've had the chance to actually watch the Giants, Brian Burns is the guy on that defense that is constantly fucking shit up. Like, I think we all knew that he was good in Carolina, but this is the best he's ever played. Like I said, he's got that slight edge in sacks on Myles Garrett, but half of Myles Garrett's sacks came in one game. So I'm going to take the consistency.
I had to watch that game. Wasn't fun.
Did you?
Yeah. He sacked Drake May 5 times. Not fun.
And lost and threw a hissy fit.
Also not fun for him. I did consider Myles Garrett. I considered Brian Burns for the same reasons. He's number 1 in sacks, number 2 in defensive tackles for a loss behind Myles Garrett. Another name I wanted to throw out was Devin Lloyd, the linebacker for the Jags.
Yeah.
So he's only played 6 games this season, but he's tied for the lead league in interceptions with 4. He has the most interception return yards of any player in the league right now at 129 on his 4 interceptions.
That 99-yard return for a TD really helps.
Predominantly because he had a 99-yard interception return that won the Jags the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. So he was one I wanted to throw out there, but he only has 28 tackles in 6 games, so he's been more of like a coverage linebacker.
Yeah.
My pick for defensive player of the year, you'll like this. I went with Aiden Hutchinson. So he only has 7 sacks right now. So he's 4 behind Brian Burns, but he's leading the league in pressures. And that still signifies to me that he is probably the most disruptive force in football, that he's like getting in the backfield. It's just not finishing the plays for whatever reason.
Well, I can tell you why. So the stats that we use to capture everything, apparently aren't expansive enough for what teams are doing with Hutchinson, because like there are places that will track double team rates, right? Aiden's not being double teamed. He's being triple teamed out of like half of the pass rush snaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll throw like 2 chips at him and then an offensive tackle. And he has to beat all of that just to get a pressure.
Yeah. And he's still leading the league in pressure. So
like it's insane.
He's been really good. It won't surprise me at all if like any given Sunday it's just like, oh yeah, Aiden Hutchinson had 6 sacks today and now he leads the league. And I'm just like, yep. Sounds right. Offensive rookie of the year. Who you got?
I'm sticking with the Emeka Egbuka. He's just been the most impactful rookie, at least on offense. Like I would say overall, honestly, now I think about it, he's just all of those receivers that went down, and quite frankly, like Baker was still able to funnel that offense through Egbuka, and like I don't know how many rookies in the history of the NFL would be able to just do that right away.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to seeing him on Sunday, especially because I didn't pick him for this award. And also Baker's still pissed at me because I didn't pick the Bucs to make the playoffs this year. So this is going to be a fun Sunday for me. I went with Tyler Warren, the tight end from the Colts. He has 524 scrimmage yards and 4 touchdowns, which honestly, those numbers, his like reception numbers and his yardage numbers are not that far behind Egbuka right now. Also, he has been very important blocking in the run game for Jonathan Taylor. So like a tight end is one of the most difficult positions to transition from college into the NFL because you're asked to do so many different things. Like not only do you have to learn the passing scheme and the routes and all that stuff, but also you have to learn all the blocking schemes and you have to like learn the run blocking and some pass blocking. And they use Tyler Warren in so many different ways in that offense. They've also used him to rush a touchdown in there. And they use him as a blocker, both in passing and rushing. And he's one of their leading receivers. And he has a shitload of yards already. So he's actually 23rd in the league in receptions and 21st in yards, but number 2 for tight ends in yards in the entire league, just behind Travis Kelce. So he's been good. I think he's worthy of consideration. The Vegas odds have Jackson Dart as the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. So maybe an opportunity to make some money there. Defensive Rookie of the Year. I thought this is actually like the hardest one to pick. Defensive Player of the Year was hard because there's a couple guys that are doing really well, but not one that stands out head and shoulders. I'll be interested to see where you went here because there's not anyone who's really done a ton in order to win this. Like Abdul Carter has half a sack this season. Where did you go for defensive rookie?
Well, the guy I picked technically has more sack than than Abdul Carter. I went with Carson Schlesinger. He's had a bunch of tackles. He's got a sack. He's got an interception. He's got, I think, a couple of pass deflections. But I mean, he's playing an important role in one of the best defenses in the NFL. Like as a rookie, and no one else has really stood out. So I'm going to take the guy that is, operating in the middle of that linebacking core of a really, really good defense and producing.
Yep. This is actually the first one that we agree on. I had Carson Schlesinger as well. He's leading the Browns in tackles with 64. Did have that interception of Drake May in that game. Can I ask you a question real quick about the Browns? Did they like low key cook in this draft? Mason Graham's
Yeah.
been really good for them. Schwessinger's been really good for them. Quinshon Judkins has been really good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that they drafted Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders got all of the headlines, but the rest of their draft has been pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
It gets overshadowed with all the drama that's going on there. But I was looking up all the numbers for defensive rookies, and I was like, damn. Like,
yeah, and they didn't use premium picks on like the quarterbacks, so
well, they traded back from the Travis Hunter pick and got more capital from the Jags. They have the Jags first next year, and so you got that.
Mason
first.
Graham's been really good.
Well, who would you rather have right now, Mason Graham or Travis Hunter? Just straight up.
Yeah, I mean,
it's at least close.
Yeah, that
right,
and that's the thing is like. I would not have done what they are doing with Travis Hunter. So it is hard to say whether or not he would be more productive that way.
Yeah. But it's not like you missed out on this immediate superstar two-way threat in Travis Hunter, and you still got someone who's really good and a first next year.
Exactly.
Or this year. So I like the trade is looking better for them already. And then you nailed your second round picks with Schwessinger and Judkins already. So
yeah, exactly.
Other people I considered for this award, Jihad Campbell, the linebacker for the Eagles, 45 tackles, 2 passes defended in a forced fumble, but PFF just like fucking loves this guy in coverage. He's been very good in coverage for the Eagles. Yeah. And then Nick Eamon-Wari, he has only started 3 games and he's only appeared in 5. And one of the 5 games he appeared in, he only had 4 snaps. But he has 23 tackles, 4 for a loss, and 2 passes defended already. Basically in basically in 3 games, he's put up those numbers. Like now that he's getting more snaps, he's playing 70 a game, I think I saw for the last couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Still. I think his cumulative stat line at the end of this season, I think, is going to be fucking ridiculous when he starts the next 8 games.
Yeah. Will Johnson has played pretty well.
There's definitely some guys who have played well. It's just like
no one's done anything spectacular.
The big ticket guys were Abdul Carter and the big ticket guys were Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter on defense in this past draft.
Derek Harmon was injured early.
Yeah,
probably still isn't 100%. Honestly,
I just love people are watching Nick Eamon-Wari make plays and being like, "Holy shit, who is this guy?" And I'm like, "You just listen to the pod." Love Nick Eamon-Wari; he's awesome. All right, bolds and scolds. Week 9 of the NFL season. It is your turn to go first with your bold.
In honor of the trade deadline, my bold is going to be the Jets front office. I mean, I think it would have been really easy for them to, especially like being influenced probably by Aaron Glenn. I'm sure Glenn didn't want to give away the 2 most talented players on his defense. And, just stick out the rest of the year with the guys that they have. But, everyone knew that this team needs to rebuild. And the fastest way to rebuild is with draft capital. And they got a shit ton of draft capital this week. And, I mean, yes, you said it yourself. They have to execute the draft picks and pick the right guys and all that shit. But we are not there yet. The part that has to come before that, they have done. And this regime has kind of done things the right way up to this point, which is weird to say because it's the Jets. But uh, like they've done what they can to now, and that is something that in my lifetime I have never been able to say about the Jets.
I mean, you're right. I
Yeah,
appreciate their willingness to be like, you know what? This isn't working. We suck. Let's rebuild
yeah,
and initiate it halfway. Like, I think this is the benefit of moving the NFL trade deadline back to
yeah.
between week 9 and 10 is
Mm-hmm.
that the Jets probably wouldn't have done this 4 weeks into the season where the trade
Yeah,
deadline used to be. Like after 4 weeks, nobody is blowing up their team. Now you're 1-7 or whatever they are, 2-8, or 2-7, whatever their record is. And you're like, yeah, we suck. Okay, let's do this. And it facilitates more trading because you also probably wouldn't go into this offseason and be like, we need to trade everybody. You might be like, oh, well, we can like rebuild on the fly. Let's keep these guys. And I think this facilitates more trades. I think the Jets are the first team we've seen really take advantage of it in season and be
yeah.
like, we're going to basically NBA style tear it all down and get picks. My bold is Falcons wide receiver Drake London. I never want to see Drake London play against my football team ever again. He had 9 catches for 118 and 3 touchdowns against the Patriots on Sunday. But it's not the fact that he put up an awesome stat line. It's how he did it. I have not seen my football team get this physically dominated by a wide receiver since we played Terrell Owens in the Super Bowl. It was jump ball after jump ball after jump ball after jump ball. All 3 touchdowns were jump balls in the end zone. He had a 40-yard catch that was a jump ball over Christian Gonzalez. And he was just like two shorting and little boying our defensive backs all fucking day. And it was infuriating because every single time our guys were in perfect position and jump ball, nope, you're not in perfect position anymore because these 50-50 balls are not 50-50 balls with Drake London. And I cannot explain to people who did not watch the game and are not Pats fans how miserable it is to just watch. Like, Christian Gonzalez is one of the best corners in the entire league.
Yeah.
And he's in perfect position defending Drake London. And then it's a jump ball and Drake London's like, nope, you're not in perfect position anymore because you can't go up like I can.
Yeah.
Like, I hated it. I hated it for 3 hours on Sunday. And I was sitting there watching it with my mom. And my mom is like, who the hell is this guy? And I was like, yeah, just one-handed jump ball catch over Marcus Jones in the end zone. Two-handed jump ball catch 40 yards downfield. Just, ugh.
Hey, Adam, do you remember your draft stance on him when he was coming out?
Yeah, didn't like him. Paid for it on Sunday.
Yeah.
No,
you remember who liked him quite a bit?
I'm sure you did. But can I also say I wasn't wrong? Because he wasn't open one time on Sunday. He got open I think he got open one time.
To be?
No, this is the problem. But I would say 95% of these guys who cannot get open are not successful at the NFL level. And he is the exception that proves the rule because it really, truly did not matter on Sunday. And I was talking to Falcons fans about it and they're like, yeah, this dude is super infuriating because this game is in there, but also the 2 catches for 14 yards game is in there because he can't get open. So,
well, some of that is Michael Penix sucks. So
Michael Penix is a Drake London and Bijan Robinson merchant. Those 2 are very good. Who's your scold?
Dan Quinn. Seriously, you are down 31 points in the 4th quarter. You have a young quarterback who you know damn well doesn't protect himself, and you don't pull him from the game. I can appreciate wanting your team to fight to the very end. And I know damn well that everyone on that roster, aside from Jaden Daniels, would have totally got it if you pulled him out of the game at that point. Now, your season is completely over. And I mean, I believe it was his left arm, right?
Yeah, I think it was his non-throwing arm.
Yeah. So, thankfully, this should not be a long term thing. But man, like, you cannot allow your quarterback to be in that scenario.
Yeah, either way, he needs to be done for the year. Honestly,
Yeah.
like by the time he is able to come back, if he's even able to come back this season, they're gonna be so far out of it. They're 3-6 now.
Yeah.
He's had a hamstring strain and now a dislocated elbow
Yeah.
this season. Like, just let him heal up, get a high draft pick, come back next season. Like, yeah, but no excuse to have him in the game down 31 points.
No.
With like barely any time left, right? Like, absolutely ludicrous situation for your franchise quarterback to get hurt like that.
Yeah.
Which, like, I think people were having like PTSD flashbacks because didn't RG3 get hurt against the Seattle Seahawks? Yes. Granted, it was at FedEx Field on that turf where he hurt his knee, but like, I guarantee that Washington fans are like, no, not again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He had one good season and now he's gone. Hopefully not for Jaden Daniels' sake. My scold, week 9. We kind of talked about it already. Daniel Jones, quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. It finally happened. We've been waiting for it all season. Daniel Jones, 3 interceptions, 3 fumbles, 2 lost against Pittsburgh. Just overall, just like a horrific Sunday for the Colts. Like I said earlier, it was their first outdoor game this season, which is going to definitely be something to monitor next time they play outdoors, which I don't think is... I don't know. They play in Germany this week against the Falcons. And I can't remember if it's an indoor or outdoor stadium. I believe it's an indoor soccer stadium that they're playing at. But something to watch because it was an absolutely epic meltdown. Coming into this game, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense had allowed 68 points in their previous 2 games and forced 0 turnovers. And you go out there and do this against them. I'm kind of looking at the Colts a little side-eyed right now, where, you know, they have 7 wins, but their 7 wins are against Miami, Denver on the leverage call in week 2, Tennessee, Vegas, Arizona, the Chargers, which was a good win for them, but then Tennessee again. So, like, people always want to give me shit about the Patriots record being buoyed by bad teams. Like, at least we beat the Bills on the road. This team's played Miami, Tennessee twice, Vegas, Arizona. Not great. And now they have Atlanta and Germany, which is going to be a super weird game. I'm probably going to bet on Atlanta to win this, actually, just because, like, what a fucking Atlanta thing to do it would be to win this game in Germany. But then after that, too, they have Kansas City, Houston, Jacksonville, Seattle, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Houston to end the season. They have the hardest strength of schedule remaining of any team in the NFL. So just something to keep an eye on. Indianapolis's odds to miss the playoffs right now is plus 700. You just maybe just a little sprinkle.
Wow. The thing is someone has to win that division.
That's the problem. That's exactly what I was going to say, is that like the main concern there is like who takes that division from them. Yeah. And then also now that Joe Alt is hurt, I kind of think the Chargers might fall off as well. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but not a good day.
Yeah. I mean, DJ I think on Sunday, I kind of think if the Colts even take one game against Houston, they've kind of got it locked up.
Yeah, because they're 4 games ahead of Houston right now? for the division? 3.5.
It might be, yeah.
The Colts are 7-2. I think Houston's like 3-5 right now. Yeah, Houston's 3-5, so it's 3.5 right now. But yeah, I mean, if they win one and it goes to 4.5, then that's pretty much it. All right, eliminator pool. 17.6% were eliminated last week, with Green Bay being the most popular incorrect pick at 13%, as they lost at home.
Hilarious.
Yeah, they lost at home to the Panthers. Lions losing to the Vikings was 3.67%. So that's
hilarious.
Yeah, pretty. You know what's funny? I didn't text you at all about that game, and I was like, he'll talk when he's ready.
Yeah, Steph came up from Atlanta last weekend, so I went over to my mom's. So I was like at Amani's house watching that game with him, and we were both just like fuming.
Yeah. But so the NFC North basically made up the entire percentage of the eliminator pool that got eliminated between Green Bay and the Lions. We had the Chargers, and oh man, I said on the pod last week that I was looking ahead to this week and that it was going to be difficult. And I was like, we're probably going to lose because I looked ahead a week. And the Chargers allowed a defensive touchdown and a special teams touchdown in the first quarter against the Tennessee Titans. And I was like, this is it. They're down 14-3. The Titans of all teams are going to be the team that knocks us out. Luckily, the Chargers are able to take control of that game. They do pull it out. So we are on to week 10. I mentioned this last week, Matt, but pickings are slim for us this week. As a reminder to people that listen to this segment and follow along with this, you're not allowed to pick the same team twice. So any team that we've previously picked, we cannot pick again. So we cannot pick the Broncos to beat the Raiders. We cannot pick the Lions to beat the Commanders. So our options limited, especially because we have games like Giants, Bears, and Browns, Jets, which takes out some of the teams that are really fun to pick against. But with all of that said, following our rules the best we can, we have 2 games to pick from. Unfortunately, they are both divisional games, but looking at the other rules, pick the best teams you can against the worst teams. Try to pick home games. Do not pick Thursdays. Don't pick blah, blah. We have the Carolina Panthers at home for the New Orleans Saints, or the Seattle Seahawks at home for the Arizona Cardinals. I will tell you that whatever one we pick is going to be the pick I feel the least good about so far this season. I don't love either of these because Arizona has been a lot better with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback the last couple of weeks, and now Kyler Murray is on IR for the rest of the season, it seems like. And also, we may have to trust the Carolina Mad Cats. My lean is to pick Carolina because it's Tyler Shuck's first start in the NFL. Carolina's pretty good at home. Enrico Dowdle, we trust. But I also feel like if the Saints are going to get another win this season, that is probably...
This might be it.
This could be it. Or against the Falcons. I think they got one more game against the Falcons.
Yeah. Like, I don't know that I even have a lean on this. Like, I should be able to say, like, no, let's take the Seahawks. Seattle is going to win this game. But that is when Seattle strikes. So.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Do we want to pick the best team we can pick because Seattle is better than Carolina?
Yep.
Or do we want to pick against the worst team we can pick because the Saints are worse than the Cards?
That is true.
So I put the Panthers in, but I'm fine with either one. Arizona already beat Seattle this year in Arizona on like Thursday Night Football. Do we feel like it's going to happen twice? Is Arizona going to sweep Seattle this year?
I mean, that would be pretty funny.
But I don't know, man. The thing that makes me nervous is that the passing game has been good. Like with Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jacoby Brissett, it's been pretty good.
With a quarterback that can see over the line and isn't busy playing Call of Duty.
Yeah. I don't know. I say we go Panthers.
Yeah. I'm willing to send that one.
All right. So it's the Panthers at home against the Saints. That is the pick for week 10.
God, we're fucking stupid.
Wish us luck, ladies and gentlemen. It might change to Seattle
But
before Sunday.
If we survive this, it is going to pay off later. It has to.
Don't look ahead. Don't look ahead because we got to survive this week first. And this is the week I am most afraid of so far.
It's a huge if, but
scary.
Yeah.
But that is it for us. As always, Fouled Out can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Overcast, anywhere you get your podcast. And you can watch the podcast on YouTube. Look up Fouled Out Sports. Go and like and subscribe to the channel to help us grow it over on YouTube. Been picking up steam over there. So really appreciate that. All right. NBA take of the week before we sign off. What do you got?
Beef stew is like absolutely him. Like that man should never be playing less than 30 minutes. He was number 1 in field goal percentage allowed at the rim of last year, and coming into this week he was number 2 in that stat again this year. And he's just generally shot the ball really well this year. Like that, he has turned into an elite defender, both at the rim and when he's pulled out to the perimeter as well.
Yeah. I also just saw that Jalen Duren just had a 22-22 game.
Yeah.
And a Pistons win today. So that's fun. For my take, I want to talk about the Ja Morant situation and potential trade. So we're now at the point where the Ja Morant market watch has started, where the Memphis Grizzlies will potentially trade Ja Morant.
Adam, are you about to shoot from the hip?
I'm going to... I just want to propose this. I want to propose something to you guys that Matt has seen. Ja Morant is wearing his welcome is run thin in Memphis. He got suspended for conduct detrimental to the team for criticizing the coaches and screaming at another player. And he has said, I don't know if I can ever get my love for basketball back, and like blah, blah. People are talking about him getting traded. There was an anonymous survey of like GMs and coaches and stuff. And basically everybody's like, we don't want him. Nobody wants him. His value is at an all-time low. And some reporters have basically said that if he's going to get traded, it's going to have to be a distressed superstar for distressed superstar trade, because the Memphis Grizzlies are going to try to get back as much value as possible. Because Ja Morant, still a good player. We're not that far removed from when he was healthy and they were playing the Thunder in the playoffs last year, that they were like cooking the Thunder. So there's still a lot there. It's just like, how many incidents have we had with him now? The trade rumors will pick up. And what I would like to propose to the listeners of Fouled Out is the single most fun thing that could happen in NBA history. And that is a 1-for-1 player swap where the Memphis Grizzlies trade Ja Morant to the New Orleans Pelicans for Zion Williamson. What is a better storyline this year than the guys who went 1 and 2 in that draft, who are on the exact same contract? I would argue that neither has really worked out for their franchise. Both are in desperate need of a new scenario. Flip-flop those guys. The Grizzlies get Zion. The Pelicans get Ja. What would be more entertaining than that? Just watch how that unfolds.
I mean, for you, Ja going to Sacramento.
Yeah. So this is my other proposal to Matt, and one that I think makes an insane amount of sense for both teams involved. Domantas Sabonis is making about $3 million more than Ja Morant or Zion Williamson. I think he makes like 42, and they're both at 39. Their contracts are swappable. Straight up. You could trade Domantas Sabonis for Ja Morant. You could trade Domantas Sabonis for Zion Williamson. My thing with Memphis is if you trade Ja, you basically have no guards and no ball handlers. Mm-hmm. So you are going to want to trade with a team that, one, you can get a distressed superstar from, and two, you can get guards from. Sacramento has all of the things. We have Sabonis, who is a distressed, high-caliber player. I'm not going to call him a star. He needs a change of scenery. We have all of the guards. Pick your flavor. We have Russell Westbrook and Dennis Schroeder and Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and Malik Monk and Keon Ellis. We have all the guards. Every single one of them. There's iterations of the trade that work where it's like Ja, KCP, and Brandon Clark for Domantas Sabonis, Dennis Schroeder, and DeMar DeRozan. I don't know how Memphis is going to do better than that. I think Sabonis and Triple J is a fascinating pairing that I would love to have on the Kings, but it's not happening. And if I'm the Kings, man, listen, you suck, but not bad enough to get a high pick in this draft. So blow it up and take a chance on a distressed superstar. Like, Ja Morant's ceiling is way higher than Domantas Sabonis's. Zion Williams' ceiling is way higher than Domantas Sabonis. If either of those guys is like actually on the market, I would shoot my shot. I'd just be like, anything except for Keegan Murray.
Have you tried? I was gonna say, have you tried trading away your best player for absolutely nothing? But some would argue that you did that.
Mm-hmm.
And you still didn't get the Nico treatment. So,
well, we didn't trade him to the Lakers for nothing.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, but you gotta trade Sabonis to the Lakers for nothing.
For in this draft, hell yeah, they can have him tomorrow. If I got the first pick give me a top 3 pick in this draft, and I'll give you Sabonis for nothing. Like this draft class is lit, but I honestly there's very few ways to acquire a superstar. Either you draft one or you trade for one. And the only teams that are able to really trade for them are like the super big markets where stars force their way to.
Yeah.
The third way to do it is to go out and get a distressed asset and hope that it turns around. And honestly, with the way that this roster has looked and this team has looked, I would just shoot my shot and I would say this for a lot of teams actually, but especially my team is like, I would shoot my shot at Ja Morant or Zion Williamson if it was available.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Nico created a fourth where you just
the fourth option
blindside them.
The fourth option is just
chunky.
Yeah, the fourth option is just be the Lakers, and we can't do that. But all right, that is it for us. Matt and I will be back next week. Same fouled out place, same fouled out time to talk about weeks 10 and then look forward to week 11 of the NFL season. Until then, my friend, I will see you soon.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Robin.
Bye, Mom.